Probably just a little technical perspective on why generative AI is, to our CEO words, it's a monumental technology advancement. Is because the way human will interact with computing will now change. We have seen now when we launch ChatGPT, but this will be accelerated in the future. The way human will interact with computing will be through natural language. So this is in the past. When human interacts with computing, it's all about user interface. Back when Bill Gates founds Microsoft and delivered Windows to the market, is the first shift on how human actually interact with computing through user interface. All the devices we are having today is the revolution of user interface, or what we call with UI, designing UI, where human gets to interact with computing, but Gen AI or generative AI, it's the shift where human will converse with computing with our own natural language. And not just that, this reasoning engine, think of this as the brain of the AI, if you will. It has the world's knowledge, and what I will share today is it can actually learn your data privately and securely, right? And there are business benefits that I will share more. Even for someone who revolutionized the technology world, for Bill Gates, I'm just quoting his words on how this is a very fundamental technology invention. For Bill Gates, this is as revolutionary as how he invented the graphical user interface, as I mentioned earlier. And how fundamental is this is beyond businesses. My session today will be more about AI for businesses and what you should know on the benefits and the use case. But the fundamental aspect of this technology will actually go beyond businesses. We are looking at now reducing the world's challenges such as health and education that will going to be empowered by this technology. Think of not our generation, but probably our child's generation and down under. The way they learn will be differentiated as to our generation, as how we interact with our financial institution these days. My child learned the first concept about money is not from banks, but from Roblox. And anyone here can relate, for those who find Roblox. So if this is not happening in our era, it will surely have the opportunity to be more impactful in our next generation. But we are seeing it today. Actually, history tells us when there is advancement on invention, let alone AI, right? Back when the first industrial revolution shows us the mechanical invention, and then the next industrial revolution where engineering and computers replacing mechanicals, and then now cloud and AI, there is a direct correlation between this technology invention and the world's productivity. And when we look at some pointers on how technology impacting productivity, and especially AI, there are many findings already. This is not from Microsoft. This is from one of the research analysts, Kearney Analysis. When we see a technology like AI will impact productivity from the individual scale, way to the corporation scale, and way to the nation scale, we will see the productivity impacting the GDP itself, right? And this is something that encouraging when we see in our words, in our CEO words, Satya Nadella, AI technology advancement like AI is the deflationary power of inflationary economy. So where the economy gets inflated, we need to bring back productivity, and AI is the leverage on achieving that. So let's get down under to specific scenarios. which a couple of them actually I have talked about. So productivity is something that is beyond the core businesses, right? So if you think a company like GM, General Motors, they are a manufacturer, but when they adopt AI to help their developers, their internal software developers, where the developers get to assisted by the AI co-pilot programmer, they are seeing productivity to go digital. And today's, as we understand in Microsoft, every company, most if not all, is digital, right? And for Komatsu, we are seeing from them, it's reducing cost on the way they work, how they are being efficient in their operations, from servicing customers to managing inventory, and financial services like Swift, the global scale of this company. The protection on the financial service that we have today is powered by AI. Whether it's a transaction or onboarding customers, on servicing customers, it's actually those role of AI. But not just productivity. What we are also seeing today is organizations that are adopting this capability will reinvent their competitive advantage. For most of you, your company have your own competitive advantage, and when you infuse AI, it will help you to expand it even more. And there are use cases to this that we are seeing in Indonesia where I will share more. So turning back now to Microsoft, when it comes to AI, it has been a long journey. Most of you probably knows better AI when you get your hands on ChatGPT. But the effort from us is beginning way from 2016, where our first milestone on getting AI technology to achieve human parity. Human parity means the technology is now very close to human capability on this kind of scenarios, understanding objects, translating languages, giving recommendations, and now with the era of Gen AI is the natural language that are achieving human parity. So everyone who have played with ChatGPT knows what I mean here. It's just like you converse with your fellow human folks, but this is now with computing. And the technology itself actually supported by a large infrastructure. If you ever heard anything about GPU, back in the days, I only know GPU for gaming purposes, but now, as you can see, GPU is the required infrastructure, and the world is now on the GPU shortage because of the demand that we are getting with this capability. And most of you probably didn't really aware that ChatGPT is runs on Microsoft infrastructure, where this infrastructure that will give you the scenario to use this AI for business. And our momentum now with OpenAI. OpenAI is the company that founds ChatGPT, of course, back ChatGPT, and Microsoft is the partner of OpenAI, where we get this technology to be used in your businesses. And I will tell this more, not from the technology perspective, but on the use cases. So when it comes to three use cases, I will just nail this down into three scenarios. The number one that I will share more is the vision on how we bring that technology that I shared earlier to be your co-pilot. To be your co-pilot. So, co-pilot itself, by the way, this image is being created by AI. So, as you probably know, AI now can help us to create images. So, it's a co-pilot for creativity. So co-pilot, as the name suggests, it's your tandem, it's your fellow that will accompany you to accomplish your task. Whether it's your daily task, strategic thinking, solving problems, even developing software. But really for Microsoft, co-pilot, I will use these terms quite a lot in my upcoming slides. What Microsoft wants for this technology to actually really producing this productivity is to be your co-pilot. And Copilot by itself in Microsoft, technically, it's about adopting AI in your applications on your business processes to get your to assist you in the complex cognitive task, right? And actually the very first implementation of this Copilot system is within our own products at Microsoft, and this is one of the good example when I say delivering a competitive advantage. Anyone knows this logo is on which Microsoft brand? Bing. Oh, I'm so glad everyone's know. And we are not shy away. We are second to our lovely neighbor when it comes to search engine. But the way I want to share it is really now when we adopt AI as your browsing co-pilot, your co-pilot for the web, we actually building our new competitive advantage. So back in the days, this is how search looks like. Whenever you're trying to find information, getting your insights throughout the search engine, you get this 10 blue links. Waktu di search, you got this 10 blue links in your screen, right? And search today, it's pretty much the same. It's just have a better interface of representing the blue links, right? But when we thought deeply at Microsoft, let's be the first adopter of this Copilot system for Bing. And what we found is when we bring this AI capability into Bing, when it comes to competitive advantage, actually we found this along the way. We are not thinking this really in the first place, but what we found out is really now we can reposition Bing in the market today is no more as a search engine, but as an answer engine. So while we are very much aware that we are second to our neighbor from search engine perspective, but if you need answer to your questions when browsing the web, you go to Bing, because this is your answer engine, right? So again, this is just an example how we at Microsoft even reinventing our competitive advantage. And this is how Bing looks like today. Not sure if everyone have the chance to play around Bing plus ChatGPT. This is the video back when we, about 3 months after we launched the Bing AI into the market. So I hope everyone have the chance to experience Bing AI. It can actually be accessed through the Edge browser that you have in your Windows devices. If not, I'll encourage you to try this out. This is my daily go-to answer engine whenever I'm trying to answer anything from my customers, from my partners, rather than doing the search in the search engine and try to look for the source. Right? Because we at Microsoft, we have documentation, product documentation that is thousands of pages. So now instead of returning the answer for questions from my customers or partners, doing the search engine and getting the blue links, now I get to ask Bing with AI to actually give me the answer to my questions, and even it's the hardest one. And I will share you this technique later, what we call with prompt. And we're taking it even further with Bing. there are many concerns around the data privacy and security. As the more you use this technology for your daily task, you are using probably your business data to converse with big, right? And we hear this concern around that AI needs to be private and secure, and we are advancing toward this with Big Chat Enterprise. So Microsoft will never save your data. We are having no interest on what are you actually typing or conversing with Bing, and we doesn't use it to make the AI brain even smarter with your data. And that is important because I'm talking about competitive advantage, and you can't achieve that if Microsoft using your data to make our AI brain smarter with your data and being used by your competitor, right? So this is very important. And this is how Bing Chat Enterprise, think of the AI co-pilot for the web. You are trying to create some product strategy. I think the video scenario is about that, and we are delivering the secure and private access to this AI technology.
When you're logged into Bing with your work account, Bing Chat Enterprise is enabled. You can ask it to create messaging for a new product and safely include sensitive business data, such as the product specs and pricing. With each response, you are reminded that your personal and company data is protected, and none of your prompts are stored by Microsoft or used to train the underlying model. You can even ask it to help with a competitive analysis. It will create a table with your product specs alongside competitors.
I can ask for them to create tables for
This puts you so much further ahead.
Yep, so this is how I get to create my own product analysis against competition by combining internal product data with an external data and create the analysis for me in the table, right? So that's a scenario there. So what is really important for us when I say co-pilot is really now putting human at the center, in which this technology will only works better if we use the best of human intelligence. We as the pilot to the AI as our co-pilot, and the human intelligence that we are exploring here is what we call with prompt. Right, so prompt, back in the days of the traditional technologies when you create the instruction for the machine. But the prompt today is our natural language to interact with the AI language model. And it's very important, there are many best practices on how to do prompt, so you got the best answer to your questions from AI. But I cannot touch this all items. I'll be touching on a very specific items that is important for us to know when you play with this technology for the best use of it. Think of this prompt approach as the way for you to start. So be specific. So the example here is when I going very specific to help me create an image. More often than not, when I create presentations, I need images. And the images that is embedded in PowerPoint doesn't always do the good job for me. So I now get to Bing to create the images for me. And I'm not sure if you can see the prompt on the purple box over there, but that is how specific I am to create an image on underwater palace decorated with seashells and all of those details, which return me the best of the output. Right? The more specific you are, when you are giving the instructions, which is prompt to the AI system, the better the outcome will be. The other thing is, this is very interesting. Actually, this is the one I use the most. We can actually prompt using a different persona or different point of view. This is an example. So, I'm just asking silly questions. What causes a rainbow, right? But when I have my second prompt on the blue box, the second blue box, I'm playing a POV, explain it on the third grade. So it returns to me the explanation of a rainbow, not on a very scientific kind of thing, but when I ask the language model, give me as if I am a third grade. It tailor the output based on the kind of the third grade. They need this information for the third grade. So what I'm actually doing at work is like this. When I try to pitch Microsoft to, and this is a real case, I'm trying to pitch Microsoft to one of the CEO or the founder of an Indonesia unicorn startups. I only have 15 minutes to pitch him why Azure, and I need to get the best understanding out of his challenges and problem. Right? This startup unicorn is actually an agriculture startups, our new unicorn in the country. So I'm asking my prompt as a POV here. The case is, the prompt is, give me the real challenge of an agriculture industry in Indonesia, explain it in a McKinsey style. So it gives me the output as if I'm a McKinsey consultant. I hope there is nobody here from McKinsey. Thanks to them. So I'm getting the pointers on what to tell the founder of this agriculture startup. This is your challenges. This is how actually AI will help you on a McKinsey style. So you can play around with all the different personas or different POV as you need it. If you are a CFO, probably all of us not a CFO, explain to me P&L as if I'm a CFO, which we are not. Suddenly I can become a CFO. So that's interesting. The other way on doing the prompt is use formatting. So when we are trying to get the output on a specific format, like I'm doing this analysis of itinerary for a tourist visit to Bali. Here we are today in Bali. You can try this directly. Give me the table format. So the output, when I ask AI to give me the table format, it will give me the exact table comparisons. Right? So this is an important prompt technique. If you're needing analysis on doing macroeconomy stuff, which I'm doing recently on a specific format, they will give you this. And even on the beta release, they can give us line charts, yeah, not just tables. And now let's switch gear on having Copilot for everyone, because this is really for Microsoft. We want this technology not only for the technology folks, but for everyone, for every functional business roles, whether you're in finance, you're in sales, marketing, HR, even for the technology folks like a security, IT professional, or developers. But let's take a look on how actually this technology can empower every employee. And we get to survey around 31,000 respondents earlier this year, and 1,000 of them actually responded from Indonesia, where we surveyed them what actually the employees at our workplace wants from AI. These are the six items coming out from 31,000 respondents. The 6 items they want AI to help them with their work. And this one item, Q&A with your data, think of the productivity loss when our employees or our workplace spending time to create reports and insights, creating that insight, as opposed to having the insight itself, having the answer to your business questions. And AI now is trying to elevate those productivity loss because we dwell too much on preparing the data rather than getting answers to your questions on your business and take action. So the next demo is exactly about that. When you just prompt on your data, and all reports, dashboard, insights will be created by AI for you.
Let's take a look at how Copilot in Power BI is empowering everyone to quickly find and share insights. For example, Sam, an HR analyst who is constantly handling requests from management, to do analysis. And
So I just type a prompt
It
here.
can take hours, even days, to respond with new reports.
This is for HR.
Now, with Copilot,
Help me
Power
build
BI,
report summarizing our workforce on 3 points. How many employees?
seconds.
So on and so forth.
Maybe I need a breakdown of some of our employee data
No, it's okay.
to understand
Play up the
demographics and
volume.
hiring trends. I just describe what I need, and Copilot will automatically analyze my data and create a new report based on my needs. Immediately, I have a beautiful Power BI report that has been automatically created.
So AI create this reports for you.
Start slicing and
And if you want to change this, look at the right hand side panel where you can prompt, change this report for me. Change the line chart into pie chart.
Switch to ask for metrics and trends in a slightly different layout. Automatically, Copilot updates the report. Let's go ahead and keep this report page, and it goes much further. I can also ask questions such as, why is our attrition rate going up? Copilot responds by adding a new page to my report and tapping into Power BI's built-in advanced analysis capabilities for finding key influencers for variables in my data. In addition to giving me a summary of an insight about different employee types having different attrition rates, I can easily explore Power BI's key influencer visual to see what's driving the biggest impact on our attrition rate. I can even automatically see the most significant segments in my data just by clicking. Now let's go back to the first page and finish up our new report. I'm going to ask Copilot to make it look like our existing exec dashboard. And instantly, it's applied the same formatting and style and adjusted the layout to match. Best of all, I can still interact directly with the Power BI report that Copilot has created. So, for example, if I wanted to manually change this bar chart to a tree map on my own, it's easy to do with just a few clicks. Let's add employee functional area, and now I can filter by this new field. Finally, to make the report even easier for my team to understand, I'm going to ask Copilot to add a rich text description of my data right inside the report. This narrative summary is fully dynamic, and not only does Copilot highlight interesting insights from my data,
So you can get exactly what you need,
the data is refreshed.
what extra you need from this report by just giving me the insights.
Seconds. I've created a report that would have taken hours or days to do manually. Copilot built on top of Azure OpenAI is truly revolutionary for how we empower everyone to find and share insights.
So that's what we mean with Q&A with your data, and we use this quite a lot in Microsoft. And rather than accessing report and dashboards, I can now instantly get the answer to my business. Which Azure services being used the most on a certain location, on which patterns, right? I cannot wait for days to make a decision on that, and I'm asking my data on this kind of capability. And when it comes to the role that can take advantage of this generative AI, is not just HR. The scenario that I showed on the previous video is HR. But when you are in sales, marketing, services, finance, supply chain, think of this capability. You can converse with your business data, getting the insights that you need and the answers you want. But the scenario that probably very close to us, how many from this room dwelling many time to create PPT? I'm the one that is very, like I'm presenting something 30 minutes, but I'm building the PowerPoint in hours. There's productivity loss, right? So what if I'm having the Copilot, so the previous video is about Copilot for your business data. Now it's the Copilot to build your PowerPoint.
Everyone has had a moment when they wish that they could turn their proposal.
See the same experience, you see the right hand panel on what you want to prompt to create this presentation for you.
Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint. Now you have a
So
professional.
I'm using a Microsoft Word document, upload it on the panel,
Let's say you
create
want
the presentation for me.
Give Copilot some quick instructions and it immediately generates it for you. There it goes. Copilot doesn't always get everything right, so it's important to verify you are happy with it and make any edits that are needed. So this slide is too wordy. You can ask Copilot to make it more visual, which it does effortlessly. And check this out, Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot automatically generates speaker notes for all your slides. It's not only a time saver, it's helping you be a better presenter.
The other things that we dwell on non-productivity things is to prepare for the meeting. I know I don't have to ask everyone here for a raise of hands, but I know most, if not all of us, we spend more hours to prepare for the meeting rather than the meeting itself. So now we get this, your meeting co-pilot, to help you prepare for all your things for next meeting by summarizing the information, and that scenario is shown in the next video, where we get
Start by asking
Copilot
to summarize
to prepare my meetings.
customer interactions, meetings, content you've shared, any issues, and deliverables. Copilot works across your calendar, emails, chats, documents, and meetings to find all the pertinent information. Now you've got a concise summary, complete with citations and sources,
create me the summary from the previous meetings.
quotes, and file names to verify information or find out more. Now you know product lead times are likely to come up, so you ask Copilot to help you prepare all the details.
So here it goes. I'm asking Copilot to summarize my next meeting based on my previous documents and past meetings.
Copilot synthesizes everything you need so you can feel prepared.
Right, and it even gives me some updates from external article about my next meeting subject. Right, so this is how we empower productivity to be more productive with our meetings. Probably this is not for everyone in the room, but this is very important as what you can expect on how software will be developed today and in the future. Actually, this technology, this invention gets me to think, how should I teach my kids on learn coding? Right? Probably if some of you have this aspiration to teach coding for your kids, think again. This is how software will be built, on how software developers is the role that will be very much empowered on this scenario by AI. And we have the statistic that is very encouraging, since we bring the Copilot capability into GitHub. Probably if you don't know, GitHub is the software development platform that is very popular within the software developer community. So when we launched this capability 2 years back, think about this. Almost half of the software that is developed on GitHub, by the way, GitHub have millions of developers, users in the world. Almost half of the software that is delivered today is being written by AI. So the code is written by AI. I will show you next. But in the same time, it's about mental health. Gen Z needs that, isn't it? So this, because most of the developer now is Gen Z. I'm millennials, by the way. They feel empowered by being more productive and more satisfying, right? So it's not just about technology invention. It brings the productivity up. It brings the well-being up for developers. And I'll show you the scenario how actually the AI Copilot programmer. So I'm doing my code here, and I will converse with my AI Copilot programmer to help me finish my code. Follow up.
It can suggest tasks based on your code. For example, here I have some code I've inherited with a bunch of regular expressions in it, but it's pretty poorly documented. Let's ask Copilot what they do. Oh, so we have validation for email addresses, phone numbers, and strong passwords. Makes sense. But let's ask for help to make this code a bit more readable for the next person. Can't I make this code more readable? Not bad. But I'd like some more, so let's ask Copilot to separate out the validation functions and add more comments. Okay, great, that's much better. The code is now in separate functions with the comments, and the variables have much more meaningful names. This is going to be a lot easier to maintain going forward, so let's bring it over. Now let's take a look at some code that isn't working and see if Copilot can help me figure out why. I'll ask Copilot to propose a fix for the bugs in my code.
Please fix my code. As a
Now,
developer, I can
Copilot
take this.
is by
Now I have AI to
looking
fix my code.
into the code that I was treating the data as comma separated in my code, but in my comment I was saying it was space separated. It's also noticed from the comment that I was returning the values in a different order, and it's adding some error checking for me that it typically sees with this type of code. Okay, so let's bring this code over and run it. And yep, that works. Brilliant. While we're here, let's ask Copilot to create some unit tests so we don't accidentally break this code again. Perfect. Copilot's analyzing
So I'm
the code,
asking
taking the
Copilot
code,
to create
and
the
using
unit
the
function
concept
test.
comment to generate a set of unit tests for the branches of logic it sees. It's a great start for us, so we can take this, copy it over into a test function, and then build that out over time. But let me show you one last thing. With chat functionality right in your editor, it's so much easier to stay focused and on task. You can ask for help about coding right where you are. You can even have a conversation with Copilot to learn more. Let's ask for an example here. However, we're deliberately constraining the prompt to ensure we only have questions that we detect has an intent around programming.
If I don't know
stray outside of
Python,
this,
I know other languages. Now I can chat to create this for me in Python, right? So think of this experience. It's exactly the same in my previous video, where you ask your business data, Q&A with your business data, create your presentation, prepare for my meetings, help me to develop my software. There is this Copilot in every scenario and for everyone, right? Now switch gear to second scenario. My first section on Copilot for everyone. I hope the video gives you a better flavor on what Microsoft means with Copilot, and we truly trust this is the momentum of human intelligence will be elevated to the next level. Now remember my earlier slides, it's just not about productivity when we enter the age of AI, but also to build a transformational experience as written here, but it's about building new or expand your competitive advantage, not just productivity. And I will not go details here, but my previous slides and videos, if you can see the Microsoft Copilot there. So this is my previous slides and videos is about Microsoft Copilot, because we bring the AI capability into Microsoft product, hence Microsoft Copilot. Now, it's about bringing this capability into your own data, into your own applications, hence your Copilot. Think of the capability, exactly the same capability as my previous slides and scenarios, but instead of using Microsoft products as your Copilot, now we are talking about having this capability into your applications, into your business processes. I give you one good example on building your own Copilot. So One Smile is a subsidiary under Sinar Mas Lab. Anyone here live in BSD? BSD City? No? No one from BSD City? Yes, so BSD City is the new satellite, famous city, outer ring of Jakarta, where they have the vision of building the future of smart city in Indonesia. So whenever you try to visit BSD, you can download this app released by Sinar Mas Land, one of the big property developer now in Indonesia. They built this One Smile application. Part of their smart city vision is to help BSD citizen to experience the city. Now they are taking it to the next level, to actually having a new customer experience, citizen experience, to enjoy the city. So if I bring this Copilot capability into One Smile, what I get is a new way of experiencing the city. So the demo I will share here, it's about tell me where should I go in BSD if I go with my family or with my friends. Where can I have bakmi? I don't know if you all know bakmi. And for me, my very first prompt to this app is actually give me the top 3 bakmi halal in the city, right? And the number 2 of the option is really good. So let's see. So I'm asking the applications, because the applications have many data on the BSD city. I'm so sorry, this is in Bahasa. Let me translate this for you. I want to go to one of the convention center in the BSD with my family and child. Give me the list of recommendation for breakfast, and then continue with lunch. So the AI will curate all the data from the applications, which is information around merchants, locations, events, and it will rate the answer for me. Taking some time because the AI
Lagi mikir ya.
trying to think. Because the prompt is quite complex. By the way, this is a live applications. If you want to try this out, download One Smile apps. There it goes. It gives me for breakfast, this is where you can go with your child. So for lunch, this is how you can go. Right? And I'm trying different prompt. Mantap jiwa, I don't know.
Mantap jiwa.
Only for Indonesians, I cannot translate this. Mantap jiwa. Oh yeah, is there any playground? So I don't know whether I can find playground in BSD city. So I'm conversing with the data. So it will give me the places of interest. So this is more than just chatbots for One Smile. This is about, for Sinar Maslam, this is how about they live the vision of a smart city, helping the citizen to experience their city even better.
Dibeli sama dia. BSD itu punya
And I'm getting complex with my prompt. I need the lunch place that is close to my playground, to the playground, right? I can go so long about this, but let's continue. And this is probably one of the scenarios that we really proud of. When we think AI for businesses, I talk on that so many, but this scenario is about AI for good. We are so proud to work with one of the electric motorcycle from Semarang, right? Because as we know, as we combat climate challenge, so the struggle from this electric motorcycle is very less. People in Indonesia understand about the benefit of electric motorcycle. So what they do is simply now turning their FAQ, because they have product specifications, right? Every one of your business must have product specifications, product FAQ. So they translate their product FAQ, get AI to understand the product specifications. So rather than people downloading the FAQ, nobody reads FAQ, is it? Rather than people read the FAQ, they can now ask about the motorcycle through this Volta chatbot, right? So I'm asking the AI model here, give me the specification of the Volta motors. What are the types? Where can I charge the battery? How long the battery stands, right? So think of your now product FAQ, all the things that you want your customer know about your product. Now having this experience, and let the customer now converse with your products, and I can have all the details around the motorcycle motorcycle specs. And I think when it comes to the very large scenario is the one that we're doing with Telkomsel. And this is live, so everyone who's using Telkomsel, you can use this directly from the My Telkomsel app. So we are now helping them to reinvent Veronica, which is the virtual assistant of My Telkomsel. And I can show you how in this video how actually now Telkomsel customer, and we are talking about tens of millions of users that needs to be serviced by Telkomsel, is now mostly going to this virtual assistant, right? So we often needs to complain on something, we need we need to check some certain package because I'm traveling overseas. I need a roaming package. So rather than I'm scrolling on the app, so now Veronica within my Telkomsel app can give me the recommendation. So AI capability here is beyond just chatting. It can give product recommendation that is aligned to my prompt. So if I play the video demo here, so I'm asking for a certain package. And you will see it will give recommendation, not just a simple answer, right? And what interesting about Telkomsel scenario is the persona of the virtual assistant is something that we can set, right? So we set the virtual assistant as a friendly AI assistant. Notice it can give you the smile emoticon, right? And it calls you Kak. Terima kasih Kak. Yeah, I don't know that's how to again translate that in English, but it's something that we can set forth on how we want to the virtual assistant to which persona. This one is the kind of friendly girl that is well conversed, well knowledgeable, so on and so forth. While I'm talking about many of the excitements of the technology, every technology invention comes both sides with the challenges. I don't need to elaborate more on the case of the misuse of AI. Probably you've seen it on the news or articles already. The wrongdoing, irresponsible use of the technology. Probably you've seen some actors being personalized by certain avatars, and they create some voice on that avatar, so as if the real person is talking about it. So it's a fake kind of avatar, and many things, right? So that's why we at Microsoft, we're not just developing the technology, but we are trying to address these challenges of having AI adoptions ethically and responsibly. And probably one of the biggest concern around us is about trust. And I don't need to remind you anymore when it comes to the data leak case in our country and probably elsewhere. We have data leaks from many spots. We have cybercrime cases from the nation-backed hackers into our institution. But this is something that we built in Microsoft to ensure that AI adoption should and can be ethically and responsibly. And probably I've mentioned this earlier when I on my big slide that your data will always remain your data. Microsoft have no interest over your data. That your data is not used to train the AI models. And this is important because you need to protect your competitive advantage information, right? And you have control on how to secure your data that will going to be used by the AI system. And the closing section of my part, I hope this session gives you a better understanding on how AI will reinvent every industry, from financial services, manufacturing, government, even education. We in Indonesia now are having conversation with the regulators on how actually we can help to bridge the inequality access of education in Indonesia with AI. Healthcare, agriculture. But for you leaders, for you business leaders, again, this is part of the Work Trend Index survey that we get to survey 31,000 respondents all over the globe, including from Indonesia. And the 31,000 respondents come, a couple of leaders from that respondent say, this is the skills that our workplace and our employees needs to have or start having in the era of AI, right? And if you see, the most interesting part is the third item, emotional intelligence, right? Because this is where actually human intelligence comes from, right? So you can download this research findings. You will have your answer around whether AI will replace jobs. Find it in this. I'm sorry I don't put the link. Is try to search Microsoft Work Trend Index 2023. You will have all the research findings over there. So I hope it's something inspiring, not just from technology perspective, right? It's about you. What will you build? There is a saying that you will just go fine on your businesses without adopting this kind of technology, but your peers will, right? The same thing when we enter the digital transformation era, right? When some neglect, we don't need to, or probably we just delay transforming digitally, then suddenly pandemic comes and everything goes digital. So think of this. I hope my session inspires you on what can you build. And we at Microsoft, we help our customers and partners to be ready with AI. Not everyone or every company needs to jump to the boat right away, but for sure we are, from a technology standpoint, we are helping our customer and partners to be ready with AI. And I hope it's inspire you. The key takeaways from today's session is about how AI will bring us to the next level of productivity, while it brings a new differentiated competitive advantage, and the opportunity is yours. Thank you.